The Incan Trail isn't just a hike, it's a journey through time. Few know it better than Ludwig Llamas, a Peruvian historian and trail guide who spent years uncovering the rich heritage of the Inca Empire. From the hidden wisdom behind Machu Picchu's design to the deep spiritual traditions still alive today, Ludwig brings the past to life. This week, we explore the genius of Incan engineering, the sacred rituals tied to nature, and how centuries-old traditions like Pachamanca cooking and coca leaf ceremonies still shape Peru today. Plus, we talk about Peru's food scene, the resilience of the Highlander communities, and what makes Cusco the heart of Incan culture. So whether you're a history buff, a traveler at heart, or just curious about one of the world's most fascinating civilizations, this episode is packed with stories you won't hear in textbooks. So let's dive in. Ludwig was my tour guide in Peru this past summer. It was actually probably one of the best places I've gone to, especially coming over to Cusco and then having Ludwig walking me through not only all the way up to Machu Picchu, and I'm going to share some pictures from my trip as well with him, but really the experience that I wanted to get, you provided more than enough for me for cultural influence, historical context of the country as well. And again, we'll get into most of that. But Ludwig, I wanted to start out with you, and can you let everybody know, where are you originally from?
Well, I was born in Cusco, but I grew up in Lima. My father was working in Cusco, let's say 45 years ago. So he's from Lima. And he was working in construction. In one point, he met my mother. And then they decided to move the family to Lima. And I grew up in Lima. And then I came back to Cusco for studying. Actually, I went to the university here in Cusco because I didn't have studying opportunities once I finished the high school in Lima. So I pretty much took my chance. It was a real adventure to move out to Cusco looking for a nice opportunity, and I found it.
Okay, so pretty much moved back to Cusco for education, because I remember when we were in Peru with you, you had a very big emphasis on education and why it's important for the Peruvians.
Super important. That's something I learned from you.
Something from me, or from just like American tourists?
From tourists.
From tourists. And I think your son as well, I think you were really interested as well in his education, sending him to a nice school there.
Yeah. Julian is going to one of the best private schools we have here in Cusco, because as I said before, I invest in education,
Yes. So Ludwig, I wanted to ask, so we're going to touch on a lot of different things, but this will probably be interesting for people that are thinking about coming to Peru and like to know a little bit more about it. So you are an Incan Trail guide, right? An Incan tour guide, as well as, well, I don't know. I think you mentioned to me that you learned most of your English actually from tours. I was curious, what actually got you started as an Incan tour guide, and how long have you been doing that?
This is actually a funny story because I was not interested at all to be a tour guide. Once I finished the university, I started doing practices. I was practicing for a travel agency in the operations department. And at one point, I got in charge of the Incan Trail logistics, buying the Incan Trail permits, talking to the cooks, organizing porters, all the logistics. And but I was working for this travel agency, sitting in front of a computer most of the time, And they gave me two cell phones. And after 2 years working, doing the same thing, I actually quit. I talked to the general manager and and I said, "Thank you so much for the opportunity, but I'm thinking doing something different. Maybe I'm going to improve to be a guide, tour guide." And he said, "But Ludwig, you know something? You just got the promotion. You are going to be the operations manager." And then I said, "I don't want a promotion, but you're going to make more money, Ludwig. I don't want your money. So what do you want?" He got angry. I do remember his face. "What do you want?" And I said, "I just want to be happy, and I'm not happy here anymore. Thank you so much for the opportunity." And I left. But at the same time, one of my friends from the university, she was working also in a different travel agency. And I talked to her, and she said, "Ludwig, there is an opportunity for hiking the Incan Trail, the 4-day trail, Machu Picchu, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Sounds interesting to me. So I've never done it, So yeah, I go. You're going to be the guide assistant." Sure. That's the way everyone starts. Not a problem. I go. That was an Australian group. I do remember that. And then after the 4 days, that was a beautiful experience, by the way. But after the 4 days, I came back to Cusco and I said to my friend, "Thank you so much. The first one and the last one. But why, Ludwig? Why?" It is demanding. And I think 4 days away from home, it's like, probably not for me. And then, well, thank you so much. And she said, "Ludwig, I need you one more time, please. So I don't have another guide assistant. You already got the program. And then just give me one more Incan Trail." And I said yes. And then I couldn't stop. So the Incan Trail became addictive. Uh, I think on my second Incan Trail, I really appreciate what the Incan Trail means, what the Incan Trail offers to you, the disconnection. You are 100% disconnected. It's just you and the nature. When I hike the Incan Trail, it's super moving. It's super moving. And what a price to finish in Machu Picchu. The Incan Trail ends Machu Picchu, going through the Sun Gate, all the group together, all of us, very proud of uh, everything we did during the 4 days. And yeah, right now, I've done it 240 times, and I still go for more. I really like it.
So it's 240 times you've done the Incan Trail alone. And how about Machu Picchu? Do you usually always finish there?
Oh, I've been in Machu Picchu over 700 times so far. Yeah, it's always different. Beautiful.
Wow. Pastor, do you have anything?
Well, I'm just excited. I mean, I think that I can't wait. I've not been there. I can't wait to see the pictures and the trail. Machu Picchu. I'm going to ask you about the monolithic stones. I'd love to see it. I know you've got them today, so I look forward to seeing it and hearing you explain it.
Oh, well, you gotta come.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you.
Do you think I can handle it? I mean, can I handle it? Going up to Machu Picchu, or should I probably ride the train, right? I ride the train.
I mean, there is always, especially Americans are super adventurous. I think, so everyone can make it. Well, you need some, physical activities
All right.
to do something.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so Pastor, you mentioned some of the pictures. So I wanted to share quite a few pictures. We don't have to talk about all of them, Ludwig. I was hoping that would jog my memory and your memory as well, and bring up certain questions for us. So this portion here is obviously when my wife and I flew into the Cusco airport here.
Welcome. That's good.
Welcome to Cusco. Yeah, beautiful too. It was here's a picture of the plane ride over it.
Wow.
Beautiful area. So
That is the Andean mountain range.
Andean mountain range, and I tell you, I definitely and I definitely
You know what?
had a scary time at some point on our tour, but we can talk about that too. So here's a little image. Ludwig, can you describe actually what this ceremony is? This is when we got to Cusco.
Hey, wait a moment. That actually is the Corpus Christi festivity. The Corpus Christi festivity, it is a mestizo festivity. 50% Catholic and 50% Andean or Highlanders festivity. We have people carrying the saints and the virgins that come from 14 different churches the Spanish built in Cusco Valley. It is a holiday, by the way. Felipe Guamán Poma de Ayala, which was a mestizo, he gave us a lot of information in the different illustrations he did. And he describes the Incas carrying their mummies of the most important leaders, making a procession apparently around Main Square. When the Spaniards saw this Incan festivity, they replaced the Incan mummies with saints and virgins, which is called nowadays the Corpus Christi. So the saints are carried by Highlanders, very devout Highlanders, and they also dress the saints and the virgins with typical customs. Chullos, chullo is the wool hat. Ponchos, and that is a mestizo festivity. Mestizo is the new breed created in between Incas and Spaniards, and we are mestizos. All the Highlanders, all the Peruvians are mestizos, which is mostly 50% Incan blood and 50% Spanish blood. And then we do have different ways to represent this mestizo breed in traditions, in different customs as well, festivities like this beautiful festivity, the Corpus Christi, where, by the way, the typical dish we eat for Corpus Christi is the guinea pig.
The guinea pig, yeah.
Peru, Ludwig, in Peru, what's it called, the guinea pig again?
Oh, cuy.
Cuy.
Now, is that heavy? Is it real heavy what they're carrying? Is that heavy?
Yes, the liters can be very, very heavy, especially when they carry one of the saints, which is a Saint Christopher. He's heavy.
Are you saying are you saying the body of a saint is inside?
It's on top of the liter.
Wow.
That's the image, virgins.
Okay.
But it is usually different saints and virgins. And I know the heaviest one is Saint Christopher, which is usually carried by 40 people, 40 or 50 people.
Wow.
At the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's not an actual body in it. It's the picture that you're seeing there. It's a statue,
right?
All that.
Yeah, it is like a statue.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know that when we were there in Cusco and we were watching this, right? So it's a culture shock anyway. I've never been there. And then if you look at this gentleman here at the very front, he is in a lot of pain. They're like this. I don't know if this is also sort of a rite of passage, Ludwig. You can probably touch on that some more, but these guys, this is a really, really tough workout. What I was witnessing here.
Oh yeah. This is the way they honor the image. They believe in the image. The saint or the virgin deserves this, let's call it pain, coming from the ones who believe in different miracles, or I don't know. Sometimes the locals say that the saints did something for them that was a miracle, and they became devout. You know.
Right. And actually, so I mean, you can see it from here, and I'm just going to flip through a couple of these. So these are the streets of Cusco here. But Ludwig, I wanted to ask you about the, I mean, the history of Peru back with the Incan. Oh, I'll just start with the Incan culture, and then it is eventually with the Spanish conquest and the introduction of Catholicism to Peru. Can you talk about how the Spanish conquest really shaped the culture in present-day Peru?
Sure. First, the Peru is Peru has a rich history. Um, Peru is a rich country. We have a lot of natural resources. 60% of Peruvian territory is the Amazon rainforest. 30% of the country is the highland, the mountains, and 10% is the coastal line. Apparently, the Incas came from Lake Titicaca area. So Peru and Bolivia share Lake Titicaca, which is the highest navigable lake in the world. The elevation of the Lake Titicaca is 12,500 feet.
Wow.
Actually, communities living in there, with many different traditions and customs. Apparently, there was a pre-Incan society, a very important pre-Incan society, and where the Incas in one point decided to look for a better place to live, and on the way they found Cusco. They found Cusco's Valley, where nowadays we just see buildings, but it used to be a fertile farming field, a beautiful one, huge. That was the main reason why the Incas, decided to establish in Cusco's Valley, because the quality of the soil, right? That happened in the 1200s. And then the Incas were not the first ones in Cusco. They found some people living in here. So, but these people apparently were not organized. So the Incas introduced organization. The ones who were living in Cusco got absorbed by this Incan society, by this Incan community, So in the 14th, early in the 1400s, so the most important Incan king took the power. This Incan king actually was Pachacutec. Pachacutec is still our icon. Pachacutec is the person who ordered to build Machu Picchu. So Machu Picchu was built under his period, and the picture you're showing right now belongs to Sacsayhuaman. Sacsayhuaman is another, important Incan construction located on top of the city that was built also under Pachacutec's period. Pachacutec is considered pretty much like the Alexander the Great of the Andes.
Are you? How high, Ludwig? These stones are gigantic. These stones are gigantic. So, how high elevation are these stones setting at?
So, we have, I would say, the tallest rock we have in Sacsayhuaman is that will be in feet. Let me do the conversion. It's almost 20 feet high. Okay, and most of these rocks are over 60 tons heavy.
60 tons.
Move 60 tons.
Okay, now
Move.
okay, but how far did they move to get them there? I mean, was it a long journey?
The quarry
Yeah.
is located roughly 25 miles away from where they do.
25 miles?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you're telling me
No.
you're telling me they move 60-ton stones that are 20 foot high, 25 miles in the 1400s?
Yes. Human power. Amazing people.
Were they giants?
The,
I mean,
no, you see me. Yeah, I'm very short. But
I know Peruvians are very short. But my question is, so do you know how they transported these? I mean, did they roll them on logs? I mean, what did they pull them with ropes? What in the world did they do?
we have evidences of logs. But it was basically human power, pulling and pushing, pulling and pushing, pulling and pushing. But we have to say that the ones working in construction used to get a stimulant by chewing the coca, the sacred leaf.
So they're chewing on the coca, which is that's what makes cocaine. I mean, so they got their power from chewing on the coca.
Yeah. Growing coca in Peru is 100% legal.
Right.
So we have valleys, different valleys where the coca grows, the coca plant, and yeah, you go to any market in Cusco and you find the coca leaf everywhere, or anywhere, and then you buy it, and you put some leaves on your hand, where you also have to buy the activator or catalyzer. The locals call it gypta. So this is a kind of ash. It looks like a paste, actually. It comes from banana peel, sweet potato peel, even from stevia nowadays. You put a little bit of this ash on the leaves, you roll it, you put it in your cheek, and you start chewing.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show it on here. I think
so. You
5 minutes later, gets numb. Even half of your tongue gets numb. So, which is the sign to pass to the other cheek. Then 10 minutes later, half of your tongue gets numb, and that's the way you get extra energies. And yeah, I mean, people working in construction, people working in the farming fields, chew the coca still nowadays. It is 100% legal. It's
right.
It is an activity.
Wow.
Tell me.
Superfood. This is why they call it the superfood. It gives them it's a hype up, a stimulant, like 10 cups of coffee, but stronger.
So when I got to Cusco, my wonderful tour guide Ludwig, he took us to open air market, and I think I have some pictures of it later. And actually, he was explaining to me the importance, not only the importance of it, also the cultural significance in Peru, for the coca leaf. Some of the things that we walked through, some of the markets, they had entire art displays of just coca leaves and Peruvians. So this isn't just, for a lot of Americans that will come over, they think, oh, coca leaf, that makes cocaine, right? So no, it's tied in a lot more, way farther in, way back to the Incan periods, as Ludwig is describing, for cultural significance. It's the pre-stimulant to coffee.
I got you.
And they also use it as well, for altitude sickness. What did they call it, Ludwig? Andean tea there?
Oh yeah, we have two different ones. Coca tea is the most popular one. It helps with the altitude for sure, but it also helps to digest. And the same with the other one, we call it muña. Muña is the Andean mint. That is also digestive because at high elevation, the digestion slows down. So you need some help to digest.
I gotcha.
You know?
Yep.
Otherwise, you get altitude sickness.
And so when we arrived in Cusco, just so you get an idea of like how readily available the leaves are, right? So in the main lobby of the hotel, they have a tea station, and right there they have the munya tea, which is mint tea, and then coca leaves as well. So Ludwig had to explain to me, it is important to drink the tea and chew the leaves while you're up here with the change of altitude. So yeah, I tried it. I definitely tried it. It was probably like a 6-ounce cup of coca tea is probably equivalent as a stimulant to 2.5 cups of coffee. And the entire time I was in the region, actually had no coffee. I would just have the coca tea in the morning. I had no altitude sickness, no constipation or anything like that as well.
The stones are quite amazing. Looking at these stones, I don't know how they cut it. How they cut the stones. Yeah.
That one right in the middle of the photo is the heaviest one of the whole archaeological site. So that is 127 tons heavy.
Wow. That's a lot of weight. And they moved it 25 miles. It's just incredible. It's just incredible, really.
You know something? In addition, I would like to say that the ones working in construction were the ones who pay labor taxes, and they were not slaves. They were very proud of being part of this project. They call it Sacsayhuaman or whatever they call it. I mean, it was a privilege being part of the project,
right?
Because the Incas were very religious,
right?
So final result had to be perfect, and they were looking for perfection, and that is perfection.
Yeah. What we got here, Paul? What we got here? The cross.
So Ludwig, hopefully,
what a beautiful photo.
I don't remember all of the names of the places that you took us to because when you tour with Ludwig, it's actually makes a lot of sense how he does it. He'll take you on short day hikes as well as like going and seeing some street markets. So it's all a part of the gradual elevation and acclimatization to where you're at in Cusco. So where is this site here, Ludwig?
This is actually the other side of Sacsayhuaman that I took you because I wanted to give you the best photo of Cusco. And this is actually Cusco's valley. You see how big Cusco is right now, 550,000 inhabitants in that beautiful valley.
Wow.
And way back photo, over the mountains, I see the most important protector of the city. It is called Apu Ausangati, where the elevation is almost getting the 20,000 feet. That is one of the protectors. The word APU, which is Quechua. Quechua is the native language. Apu means protector or good spirit. And that's a beautiful view of Cusco.
The wonderful. Yeah, it's just so, if you go to Peru, if you have the chance to experience it, right, it's so peaceful. And it really, I mean, it's called, the Sacred Valley. Sacred Valley is essentially all of Cusco. Ludwig, can you help me with?
Sacred Valley is located an hour away from Cusco at low elevation because Cusco is 11,000 feet and the Sacred Valley is 9,000 or 9,500 feet. So this is what the travel agencies are improving nowadays. So tourists land in Cusco, but instead of staying in Cusco for the first night, so they go straight to the Sacred Valley where the elevation is lower, And then you go to Machu Picchu, where the elevation is even lower than the Sacred Valley. And then after visiting Machu Picchu, you come up to Cusco, where your body will be at least, I don't know, 40-50% acclimated, adjusted to the elevation, because 85% of tourists gets affected by altitude sickness, which is almost everyone, in different levels, of course.
Right.
What are you doing here?
Hey, that's a
Yeah. The pictures here.
When you're going, you and your wife,
Go ahead.
llamas. You guys are feeding the llamas.
Yes, we're feeding the llamas.
that was one of the highlights for Paul.
Yeah, I'm feeding. But this was an interesting place here too. What was this? The alpaca factory, Ludwig?
Alpaca factory. Yeah. Textile center, where we take the tourists to know how the weavers work, which is a beautiful activity. Obviously, we have to see the animals. And then there is some llamas, there is some alpacas, there is some guanacos, and there is vicuña. Vicuña is the animal where we obtain the finest fiber in the world. And then we see the weavers. Those are the alpacas. They are beautiful,
Yes.
They're nice. Well, then we see the weavers, and the weavers give us a demonstration how they weave, how they dye the textiles. There they are. We call them mummies. They are the mummies.
It's an ancient.
Actually,
Very skilled.
It's an ancient way they make this. I mean, they make their own dye, right, from the cactus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are some of the plants and lichens, even parasites they use for dyeing the textiles. There is a cactus where you see little white dots. Those little things are parasites. That is the popular cochineal. So Peru exports a lot of these parasites to the makeup industry. When the ladies are wearing the rouge, the makeup, they are wearing this. They are wearing the cochineal.
Really?
And this is actually, it's like
these parasites grow on that cactus. The little white things, those are parasites. You ship those to the American cosmetic industry, and that's the rouge that the ladies put on their face?
Yes, sir.
What? Are you serious? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Actually, it's super interesting how the locals collect different kind of mosses, lichens, parasites, whatever, to covering long distances. And then, you see the plate over there. So you have the cochineal, and then you add a bit of lemon or a bit of salt, and the red color changes into orange or a different tones. 24 different tonalities of red is what we obtain from the cochineal parasite.
Wow.
And then they pretty much, so after they, you can titrate and change the color with, what did you say, lemon juice?
Yeah, lemon or ash or salt or alum stone, different things.
And then this was pretty much, this process I thought was really cool in the factory here. So then these ladies would create their colors and then use the fur from the alpaca and the llamas and then stain the textiles while they're making blankets or sweaters like what I have on here, or
there you go, boy. Sweater.
Beautiful. I mean, that's really beautiful. And this is an ancient way of how to make this. I mean,
remember, we don't shave the babies. We just say baby alpaca, which is the first cut of the adult alpaca, which is super soft.
Wow, look at so just a couple more pictures here. So this was this is the Sacred Valley.
That is the Sacred Valley view. And there is another. You see the snow up there?
Yeah.
This is the protector, Urubamba. Urubamba is the capital of the Sacred Valley of the Incas. It's the most developing town, the most important town, the most commercial town in the Sacred Valley. And that is one of the protectors. The elevation of this one is almost 19,000 feet.
Wow.
So a couple of pictures. This is where we were staying. This was a beautiful resort. in Cusco, or this was Sacred Valley, correct?
This is the Sacred Valley Pool.
Okay.
This is your hotel in the Sacred Valley. You spoiled yourself, huh?
Yes.
So you were staying there,
Very nice tour.
Paul. This
Yeah.
is where you stayed in the Sacred Valley. Beautiful place. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's top notch.
Beautiful gardens.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, the sun rises over the mountains, and then eventually over the gardens of your hotel. They offer some activities like feeding the baby alpacas. Nice. The hotels are doing a great work here in Cusco.
And then and then here's a picture of us, me and my wife with Ludwig. So this was pressed juice at one of the nice markets.
In the Sacred Valley. So we actually got into the local market in Pisac, I do remember. And there was a lady selling one of the tasty sandwiches we have here in Cusco, which is a sandwich with tomato, avocado, cheese, and fried egg. And it costs only $5. And then right next to the lady who sells the sandwiches, we have the lady selling the juices. And I think we are drinking my recommendation, which is mango, lucuma, which is Peruvian fruit, with a dash of orange juice. Yes.
So mango, orange juice, and what's the other ingredient?
Lucuma is the Peruvian fruit.
It's a fruit.
Lucuma.
It's a fruit.
It is a fruit.
Okay, so it's a pretty. It would be an American smoothie, but it would be a whole lot better for you, I think. Pretty good. I love mango.
Yeah, so I'll just show some of these because I want to get everybody to our trek to Machu Picchu as well. But I just thought this picture right here was interesting to me because the right down the middle of the streets is the drainage, correct, Ludwig?
Yes. I mean, during the rainy season, we get heavy rains, and well, the streets have this logistic, to take the water away. And This is the farming terraces of Pisac. Pisac archaeological site located 45 minutes away from Cusco. Beautiful terraces, part of the Sacred Valley. We have a couple of temples in Pisac. We have Incan neighborhoods because Pisac was divided in neighborhoods. And this is, by the way, the area where the Spaniards found the largest Incan cemetery. They were looking for cemeteries because they knew the Incas used to bury the people with their personal belongings, including gold and silver, Paul. You know that?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I didn't know that it was at this location. I mean, I did know about, the grave robbing, obviously, the Spanish.
And take a look of these terraces, so for growing different kind of crops, potato, different vegetables, corn, So a lot of this production was destined to honor the gods. And the most important, temples in Cusco were built on top of on top of the hills to be close to their Andean gods.
And how many varieties of potatoes are there in Peru? I asked you this like 3 times and I forgot every time.
Well, some people say 6,000, including hybrids. I always say 3,000 different varieties of potato. Organic, native. Yes.
3,000 different types of potatoes. Wow.
Yes. 3,000 different varieties of potatoes. 51 different varieties of corn. 4 different varieties of quinoa. 35 different varieties of sweet potato. Just for mention some of them.
So it's a very rich, mineral-rich country, not only with stones and rocks, but also very fertile country, especially there in the Sacred Valley, as you could imagine.
Especially in the Super Valley.
Hopefully, you could explain a little bit more about this. So, we were the special guest here at Pachamanca, right?
Now, Pachamanca, a typical dish from the highlands, where we see the locals hitting the rocks. You see those rocks over there in the video. So the locals hit the rocks, let's say for about 2 hours. When the rocks are super hot, they put some meat on top. What kind of meat? Chicken, pork, lamb, guinea pig, and then some tubers like potato, sweet potato, and then some fava bean, or I think you call it broad beans, banana as well, and they cover the whole thing with a tarp. Then they throw some dirt, and then they cover with some other plant, for a good smoke, and then so everything get cooked.
It's like an oven. It's like an oven.
It's like an oven.
Yeah.
And everything get cooked for the next 20 minutes. Then we open it, and then voila, everything is cooked.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, wow. I see chicken in there. I see potatoes. I don't know. Is there other kind? Is there pork? Some kind of pork or something?
Yes, chicken, pork, and beef.
And beef. Okay. Man, it looks delicious.
Beef.
What?
Hey.
There's the man. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
you look like a Highlander, but yeah,
wonderful, right?
Highlander.
Ludwig, can you tell what is the significance of the Pachamanca? Was it just like a traditional community gathering feast, or if we're a distinguished guest, or?
No, it is actually for locals. It is just the way we send something back to Mother Earth. Over here, that is the way we think that Mother Earth give us everything. Everything comes from Mother Earth, and this is the way we honor Mother Earth. We share food coming from Mother Earth, and to be honest, it's a quite expensive dish. We don't eat it often. We eat it only in special dates, or when the Paul and his family come to Cusco.
Yeah, so you want me to come there and to see all of the oh wow, wait a minute. You guys are going to go rafting?
Hey, the sacred river.
The sacred river. Okay. And you guys go rafting on the sacred river? Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it really bad? I mean, is it like whitewater rafting, or is it kind of mellow?
Well, actually, the section Paul did was quite smooth.
Okay.
Gentle.
I can do that.
We go twice, and we can get rapids class 3.5, which is good enough for fun.
And this actually sits at the foot of Machu Picchu as well.
Oh, it's at the foothill of Machu
Urubamba River.
It flows all the way to the Amazonas River. This is one of the most important.
To the Amazon?
The Amazon.
It flies. So it flows all the way to the Amazon River.
Yes, that is probably the most important tributary.
Oh, here's the guinea pigs. Guinea pigs.
Yeah, I see my friends. We call them lunch, dinner,
breakfast. Yeah.
Breakfast.
I just faster.
There is always one alpha per group of guinea pigs.
So let me ask you a question, Ludwig. I heard that there was a time, and maybe it was the Incas did it, maybe since then, where if a person was sick, like maybe a cancer or a tumor, they were sick, that they would lay them down and take a guinea pig and kind of scan over their body with the guinea pig, and then open the guinea pig, and it would show where the cancer was in the body. Is that something you know about there in Peru?
Yeah, I've heard about it actually. You know, it's people here in the Andes, they do believe on different things, and this is one of the healing process they have. You know, in order to cure different
Right.
illnesses.
Like,
Heard that? Yeah.
I mean, so because in America we use the term, "Oh, you're the guinea pig." In other words, you're the one we're testing
Yes.
this on. But in
Yeah.
reality, that's coming from Peru. It's an actual medical art. It's a way of medicine, right?
Yes, we have the shamans here, you know, the Andean shamans,
Shamans.
and
Yeah.
they do different kind of things over here.
Yeah. Okay.
And they use the feathers of the condors. They use the black guinea pigs, you know, to scan the body, as you just said.
Yeah.
These are the Andean. These are the Andean shamans, Andean shamans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this is so yeah. That one is beautiful.
That-
It's a great view.
This was actually one
Great.
of my favorite places of the tour. How do you say Ollantaytambo?
Ollantaytambo. Easy to pronounce.
Ollantaytambo. Ollantaytambo. Got it.
Yes.
So then,
Remember to pronounce the letters.
yeah. So here's some pictures. I mean, you'll see quite a bit of it. Just kind of the architecture and construction abilities of the Incans, right? So, Ludwig, can you talk a little bit? Because I didn't realize it until we got there and you were explaining it to us. Most people believe that there is no mortar between these stones. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah. When we watch Nat Geo, Discovery Channel, History Channel, and there is documentaries of the Incas, they all say, hey, the Incas were amazing stonemasons. Where I'm pretty sure they were. They didn't put any mortar in between the rocks at all. That's totally false. Not even 5% of the Incan constructions didn't get any mortar in between the rocks at all. The rest of the constructions, like this one we see in front in the photo, you know, got mortar. It's not visible. It's in the inside. You know, it is in the inside, and
Tuck back a little bit, just out of view.
yes, that was the way the Incas make differences among very important constructions versus not as important ones, like the houses we saw in Machu Picchu, rock mortar, terraces, food storages, and this is a beautiful niche. So where we don't see visible mortar, this niche will be used to place golden and silver figurines, the ones who are going to be part of the rituals.
So you'll see this a lot, especially when we take you up to Machu Picchu. But this trapezoid shape, right? So Ludwig, is that also part of earthquake proofing building?
Yes. The architects nowadays design straight, so civil engineers have to build it straight. You know, you see a straight person, if you push the person falls. But if you make a trapezoidal shape, you create stability. This is one of the anti-earthquake techniques, you know. And the Spaniards suffered an earthquake in the 1650. It was already a Spanish occupation in Cusco. And then we got another one 70 years ago, 1950. All the Spanish constructions got seriously affected by the earthquakes, not the Incan ones.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. It's sacred geometry is what they're using. And they had the ability to understand that and use that technique. Very good. Are you going to show them a little Machu Picchu Paul?
Yeah, so I just while we're getting there, right? So this is the Hiram. I think I'm saying his name right? Hiram Bingham train, and Ludwig. Just so the viewers can know, can you talk a little bit about the Hiram Bingham and his significance to Peru? Because he was accredited with the rediscovery of Machu Picchu, I believe, in 1912,
11.
like that. 1911. Okay.
Yeah, well, he got the credit, and thanks to Hiram Bingham, you come to visit Cusco. No regret. Hiram Bingham is still important for our history. He was an American historian professor working for Yale University, and he was an explorer. He was looking he was not really a treasure hunter, but he was looking apparently for being part of the National Geographic Society. I would say a bit obsessed about it. He was also interested in the military campaign of Simon Bolivar, here in South America. He was he was one of the speakers in this important meeting celebrated in Chile, where a couple of Peruvians aboard him, and they invite him to cover some explorations in Cusco, looking for important Incan cities or for important Incan remains already described by the Spaniards. So Bingham accepted the invitation. He was part of this exploration, but he was seriously interested in what the Incas built. At one point, he found Machu Picchu by chance. That was July 24th, 1911. And he was exploring the area, and then he met two Peruvian farmers. Like, hey, have you seen any Incan site, any Incan wall? Mr. Hiram, don't look for more. You just go to the upper part of Machu Picchu mountain and you will find a citadel. So Bingham opened his eyes, and it was like he picked the machete, he started cutting the vegetation off, and he arrived to the first terraces in Machu Picchu. He didn't see much, because the place was overgrown, but he found two families living in Machu Picchu. And then the first question was, hey, are you Incas? Do you have pure Incan blood? So how long have you been here? And then they said, no, we are not Incas. We are mestizos. We got here 9 years ago, and we are actually taking advantage of the soil, fertile soil, for growing potato, corn, whatever. And we are having a self-sufficient economy. So we didn't say anything about the archaeological site because we are avoiding taxes. And that was a surprise for Bingham,
Right.
So those two families are the real discoverers of Machu Picchu. So the two families are the main reason we say Bingham is the person who rediscovered the archaeological site on the scientific way. But this is the section we call the monkey steps or the staircase to the heaven, or in a way of joke, like the gringo killer.
It's a gringo killer. In other words, is that why you guys are crawling? It's you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's pretty steep.
Yeah, and Ludwig, we watched him go ahead of us, and he's climbing these stairs, standing straight up. And I'm looking, and I'm like, "What is that guy's crazy?" Yeah, we're hands and
pretty steep. I take it pretty steep and high.
Very steep.
Very steep, beautiful architecture. Machu Picchu.
So
Machu Picchu is super moving.
So Machu Picchu, I think, is actually one of the new 7 wonders of the world. And this is, I mean, first of all, I do not like heights. So the hike was wonderful. However, sometimes there was, a foot and a half of walk room on the trail. And I'm looking over to one side. I'm like, that's a really big drop. So most of the time for me, unfortunately, I was holding onto the wall and looking at the wall most of the time. But when you get here, there's just it's an indescribable feeling, really, of just taking it all in, the views, the the trail to actually get there, and then trying to really think about all of the effort and knowledge it took for the Incans to move these stones up here, but also their significant skills of architecture, engineering, astrology, sacred geometry, agriculture, and just really their whole connection to the land. I'll roll through some of it and then ask you kind of some of the things like that as well. But there was really wonderful engineering capability and like waterways where they actually rerouted the waterways to make fountains here at Machu Picchu, which are still originally flowing. And you can drink it. I tried it. I thought it was refreshing.
Super refreshing.
Ludwig, this is the historical picture, right, that you usually see about Machu Picchu. And did Hiram Bingham actually take this as well?
Yeah, that is the famous photo of Machu Picchu. You know, Paul, that's my office. Remember I told you?
Yes.
Machu Picchu means the old mountain. Machu Picchu is one of the new 7 wonders of the world, elected in the 2007. Then we have the Great Wall, and then the Roman Colosseum, Taj Mahal. Machu Picchu is the main reason why the people come to visit Peru, actually. The journey is amazing. You land in Lima, and then you gotta take another flight to land in Cusco. Then you go to the Sacred Valley by car. Then you gotta catch a train for about an hour, 30 minutes, and then you make it to the station in Machu Picchu town, and then you gotta catch a bus up to Machu Picchu. There's a bus ride for 25 minutes, and finally you pass the control and you see this beautiful thing, this amazing thing, with full of terraces, 200 different dwellings identified by Bingham, the Temple of the Sun, the Temple of Mother Earth, the Temple of the Wind, the Temple of the Water, the Temple of the Condor. We have the Huayna Picchu Mountain with a beautiful architecture. The surroundings, Paul, it's not just the construction. Remember when we made it to Machu Picchu, and I said, it's not just the construction. It's not just the classic photo. Take a look of the surroundings. So beautiful mountains protecting Machu Picchu.
Right.
You know, it is the whole thing.
Can you talk actually a little bit more about that? So I think archaeologists now, correct me if I'm wrong, you know better than I do, that Machu Picchu was actually occupied from 1420 to about 1530s. And this was the last retreatal site of the Incans while the Spanish were conquesting in Peru. And then they actually abandoned the site because they did not want the Spanish to find the sacred city, the citadel.
Machu Picchu is the biggest mystery. It's our biggest mystery. We still have archaeologists going and working in Machu Picchu, digging out, making excavations, giving us better information, more precise information. Is our biggest mystery. Machu Picchu apparently was built. They started building Machu Picchu after 1430s, and they apparently, this is a speculation, they apparently abandoned Machu Picchu in the 1570s because the Spaniards were chasing the last post-conquest leaders, and they were getting closer to Machu Picchu. They never made it to Machu Picchu. They never made it. There is not even one evidence about the Spaniards visiting the citadel. The ones who were escaping from the Spaniards didn't say anything about the archaeological site.
Right.
So that's why the Spaniards never made it. They didn't find the trail. They never made it. And Machu Picchu got protected by itself, by the vegetation, and by the ones who were living in Machu Picchu, So they abandoned Machu Picchu. They escaped from Machu Picchu in order to protect the archaeological site. That's for sure. My theory, the ones I support, is also related to the Incan Trail. When I hike the Incan Trail and then I make it to Machu Picchu, so I have different feelings. It is super moving. And I will say Machu Picchu was a place for the spiritual retreat, only for carefully, for important people. So the ones who got the chance to visit Machu Picchu were carefully selected. They had a privilege to see Machu Picchu. I usually transport myself, and when I bring the groups to the Incan Trail, and we make it to the Sun Gate, I try to understand many different things, including, why here, right? And then it's like I think obvious reasons they built Machu Picchu over there because they found water and the material, the rock. They didn't bring the rock from 25 miles away. The rock was always there. And that was big quarry, granite, plus the water. So the guys who went to Machu Picchu through the Sun Gate were the privileged ones. So they finally will have the spiritual retreat in Machu Picchu, worshiping the most important Andean gods. That is the Temple of the Sun on top of that rock. You just show us the Temple of Mother Earth. This is a very nice spot where we see the Temple of the Sun right there. Right below the Temple of the Sun is where we have the Temple of Mother Earth. Right next to the Temple of the Sun, we have the Temple of the Wind. And right below the Temple of the Wind is where we have the most beautiful water fountain in Machu Picchu. That will be considered the Temple of the Water. So over there is where we have gathered the four most important elements in life: sun, fire, earth, air, and water, gathered in one particular spot.
Ludwig, so the Temple of the Sun is really interesting to me because I'll let you describe it a little bit better, but the windows are actually situated to where I believe one of them, the sun will come through it in winter solstice and the other one in summer solstice as well. So this just shows you not only, the building, but the building techniques, but also their astrology knowledge and mathematical capabilities as well.
Yes,
a little bit more about this temple?
Yes, Paul. The two windows we see over there in the Temple of the Sun are aligned to our solstices, winter and the summer solstice. So the Incas didn't know about the seasons we have nowadays: summer, spring, winter, or fall. They actually knew about the 21st of June, the winter solstice, the official beginning of the dry season, and December 22nd, the summer solstice, the official beginning of the wet season. So in this way, they needed projections, shadows to give them an idea about the beginning of the season. So we have the Temple of the Sun in Machu Picchu, we have the Temple of the Sun in Ollantaytambo, there is another one in Pisa, another one in Cusco. And that is actually the way how they identify the beginning of the seasons,
And then, so did they also use that? So for beginning of the season, is that for agricultural purposes, but also for, to pay tribute to Pachamama, right?
Oh, yeah. So always thinking about nature. The Andean religion is based on nature. It's still present. You visit according to our constitution, Peru's in a Catholic country. If you go to Lima, they're 100% Catholics. But you come to Cusco, the people over here, 50% Catholics and 50% Andean believers. So the people worship Mother Earth because everything comes from Mother Earth. You go to some communities 4 hours away from Cusco, still in Cusco's region, and you mention the word Jesus, and they say, "Who is Jesus?" We do believe on Mother Earth. Potato comes from Mother Earth.
Right. Right. So yeah, so that's also interesting when I was there because we spent a couple nights in Lima, and Lima's a city. Like it doesn't seem very different from a U.S. city minus the traffic is crazy. But I mean, most of the people, most everybody speaks English for the most part. The food's wonderful, the restaurants are wonderful there. But when you leave Lima and you go to Cusco, it is a very, very different feeling. It's like, oh, this is not what I would just experience for the last 2 days, right? So Ludwig, here, this little video, again, I talked about the water source. So this is the original waterways that they made in the Citadel, correct? And they're still flowing.
We have 16 water fountains in Machu Picchu where the water still flows. So the natural spring is located in Machu Picchu mountain, and it's actually half a mile from the first water fountain the Incas built in Machu Picchu.
Okay. And they were able to route that so they didn't have to leave when they were in Machu Picchu city.
Yes.
So yeah, a couple of things here. So I think this was you described to me as a possibly recreational area for the community that was there at Machu Picchu.
Festivals, for dancing, a gathering area, meeting point.
Yeah. And I wanted to get to, let's see, because this is also interesting. So this is the Condor altar. I'm sorry, can you tell me what that is again?
That is the a Condor temple, the
Condor
temple of facing the east, which is the way they respect to the sun god. So in our Incan sacred trilogy or Incan holy trilogy, they do mention the three most important animals they had in the wild. So Condor, Puma, which is the mountain lion, and the snake. So the Condor is the messenger in between the worlds. The Condor is on top of this holy trilogy. Then we have the Puma or the mountain lion, the animal that represents how strong the people who live in Cusco were. And then the Puma also represents this world. And then we have the snake, the serpent. The snake represents the knowledge, how smart the Incan people were back in time. And the snake also represents the underworld. This is our holy trilogy. This is our totem, Condor, Puma, and the snake.
So with that, you kept bringing that instance to me as well when I had questions of the power of threes, right? You just described it there with Condor, Puma, snake, but also I'm going to show a picture here of the Chicana or the Andean cross as well, and you can see it. You can see it in there as well, right? So the steps 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
Threes everywhere here, and also the sacred geometry, circles, squares, right? It's everywhere, right? It's the Incan culture. I mean, it will never leave Peruvians, especially in Cusco as well.
I'm going to share something with you and your people, Paul.
Yeah.
Coming back to the Chacana, I'm gonna give you my personal description.
Okay. Can we get back to it so you can see?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
It's in my mind, by the way, but no. So I do have, the symbol of the Chacana that represents more than 3 steps. The 3 steps is related to the Holy Trilogy. If we divide the Chacana in 2, so we have the holy balance, male, female, sun, moon. If we divide the cross in 4, we have the Tawantinsuyu. Tawantinsuyu is the Quechuan name for Inca Empire. Tawa is the number 4. Inti, the sun, our God, our Father, and Suyu, the quadrant or the province. So, the 4 quadrants of the sun. Right in the middle, of the Chacana is where we have this hole. So the hole represents Cusco. Cusco was the capital of this important Inca empire. Cusco is the Spanish word. Cusco comes from Cusco, and Cusco means the center of the world. Nothing more beautiful than Cusco, Paul. Not even Machu Picchu. Cusco was the base of the Inca.
I had a spot for hiking.
Yeah, and Cusco is, I mean, this whole experience really was just wonderful. But Cusco, I really would like to spend a lot more time than what we actually ended up doing there. But I wanted to show you like some of the right here, the Condor. Right? You were describing as well that they were building straight into the geological structures as well. So the wings here are just rock formations that were already there. Or
Just rock formations, they were already there.
And then so back to Cusco again. I was showing some pictures here of the Spanish cultural influence. But Ludwig, let me ask, we kind of touched on a lot of stuff here. I mean, we could probably spend a lot more time doing this, but when we were in Machu Picchu and doing and hiking as well, you would refer to the Incans and the people of Cusco as Highlanders. Can you explain what that actually means to you to be a Highlander?
Highlander is a hard-working person, and Highlander has a very strong mentality. A Highlander is the person who experienced many different situations. He's very supportive. A Highlander is an amazing farmer. They never say no. They always help. They're very supportive. They practice the Aini. Aini is another Quechuan word which means reciprocity. Today for you, tomorrow for me. But you always have my hand. This is my description of a Highlander. And also, a friendly person. You see a Highlander and they always say, how are you? They speak in Quechua. You say hi, I say hello, which is a common expression, but when the Highlanders say Yanchu, they say, hi, how are you? It's more personal.
Yeah, very personal.
What are you doing? It's not just hi, it's not just hola, it's not just hello. It is, hey, hi, how are you?
Right. Yeah, very, very personal, very hardworking people. And Ludwig, I think actually you're a wonderful person to talk to and actually introduce to the audience about the people of Cusco, right? So, I mean, a lot of people have seen, there's a lot of different films made in the U.S., right? That they really are about Peru. Unfortunately, a lot of times they don't actually come straight out and say it, even like some Disney cartoons as well. So
they should come.
Yeah, they should come for sure. And then finally, I just want to show everybody wants to see the food of Peru, right? So these are some of the markets here. So this was wonderful for my wife and I, because most of the time when in the U.S., as we know, we go to the grocery store to buy something here. It's Peru.
Remember what your wife said after visiting the market?
What is that?
I want to move to Peru.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's cheap too. It's just fresh ingredients, right? Just brought straight from whatever farm plot they were bringing it from, and straight to the markets, right? This is one, and these are everywhere. This isn't just like find one market and that's it. No, you have the touristy markets, and you also have the legitimate markets in Peru. And then here's some of the food. I forgot which dish this was, but I'll just scroll through some of them here. This was the lomo saltado.
Lomo saltado. Whoa.
Wonderful dish here. I forgot
that is actually part of our Chinese influence.
Which one? The lomo saltado?
The lomo saltado.
Lomo saltado.
Yeah.
And then So these are.
De gallina.
Say it again.
Ají de gallina, which is another typical dish. You know, the for you the cream we see over there, the yellow cream, will be quite similar to curry.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a chicken actually.
That was not my favorite dish. The one on the right though, that was wonderful. It's just like a Peruvian meatloaf almost.
That is, I think that is lamb.
Oh, was it? Oh, I can't remember.
That's, I think so. We have that kind of dish with two different meats, or beef or lamb.
Yeah, I think this one was beef, but this was also some of the food in Lima, and then this is
Use
chicha
chicha morada.
chicha morada.
That corn use. So we boil the purple corn with cinnamon cloves. We add some pineapple, some apple boils. We sift it. We add some sugar, some lemon drops, and then chicha morada juice. Voila. Beautiful.
Wonderful.
So it's actually super food. Ceviche, bowl. Wow.
Yeah. Making you hungry again. You just ate.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorite things here was the say it again.
Pan con chicharrón.
Yeah, this
Chicharrón.
is one of the best things there. This is pork.
This is a very popular sandwich over here. It is the pork, baked,
Yeah.
and then they put some Creole salad, which is basically onion, and sweet potato.
Right.
It's
This was wonderful. This was a little sandwich shop there. I have a couple more things here. So this was in that we'll come back to that. But Ludwig, I wanted to ask you, what is that?
the guinea pig.
Yeah. But before we get to the guinea pig, Ludwig, I wanted to ask you, what is the current state of tourism, especially after COVID in Peru right now? And then also, why should I come to Peru and Cusco and come see you?
Well, the activity is getting better. We actually we spent a very bad. I mean, we had a very bad time when COVID hit us, because every activity over here in Cusco is connected to tourism, but now we are kind of recovering the activity. There is more people coming. There is more enthusiastic people coming and visiting Cusco, and they wanna see Machu Picchu, but they also want to experience the culture, the living culture. Machu Picchu for sure is the highlight, but we have more to offer. There is beautiful archaeological sites, and I'm gonna say our people is very important, and they are very friendly, and they have a lot to offer, So the traditions, the customs, those are some of the things should be in your mind. Come to visit Peru.
And I would recommend for anybody that is thinking about it and wants to go, use Ludwig. He's smart, entertaining, has great English. He'll go take you to a fancy place if you want it.
Thanks for the compliment. Oh, remember the first questions was about my English? Well, I learned English hiking the trail.
Yeah,
there's no choice. And I'm gonna say the tourists are super friendly, and they teach you, they help you.
Right.
They are nice.
And so, Ludwig, if I wanted to use you as my tour guide, how can I find you?
Ludwig Llamas on Facebook.
Okay, on Facebook. Do you have a company website or anything that we could use or go to so I can put it up here for the viewers?
I am independent.
Independent.
The people just trust on recommendations and the feedbacks I have, and that will be my presentation business card.
Okay.
Just my pictures on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, how about we do it this way? When this goes live, Ludwig, can I just use your email and people can email you if they'd like to use you as
Sure.
independent?
Sure.
Okay, wonderful.
Sure. And I can pass my Facebook, profile down to you,
Okay.
and you can share that with your audience too.
I thought it was a wonderful time, and I would love to come within the next few years to come see you again, Ludwig, before you get too old.
Hey, I'm waiting for you. Yeah, you're right. Come to Peru before Ludwig gets too old.
Yeah, and you can have guinea pig with Ludwig, but also you also have a tap room venture as well. Do you want to talk about that, or what's the name of it at least?
It is the Siete Vidas or Seven Lives tap room. Yeah, I started the business during pandemia, and now it's a nice restaurant, which is waiting people to come.
Yeah.
And then we have 50 different varieties of craft beer here, where the most important one, or the most popular ones are quinoa beer, or purple corn beer,
Yeah.
That is something we offer here.
Yeah.
And tasty food.
All right. Well, that is wonderful, Ludwig. Thank you so much for joining, and for anybody.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
I would like to say to the people that Peru is waiting for you. We expect to get a lot of tourists, and they can experience different things over here and bringing good memories back to their countries. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Ludwig. And who do you want the most Denzel Washington, right?
Oh yeah, why not?
All right.
Someday.
All right. Thanks, Ludwig. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on the Paul Begley Podcast. New episodes will be released every Tuesday on all major podcast streaming platforms. For a video recording of this episode, you can watch and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Paul Begley Podcast. Hey guys, we want you to connect with us. Follow us on X and Twitter at Paul Begley Pod. We'd love to hear your questions you want us to answer on the show. For additional Paul Begley content, go to our website at paulbegleyprophecy.org. If you've thought about it, we'll talk about it. Paul Begley Podcast.